for sustainable wealth every Friday 7 p.m. UTC. Terra Luna or Reserve Rights token, a giant ecosystem against a stablecoin platform with a vision in the long run. What are they? What are the risks we should know about, which is undervalued, and much more. For starters, which coin made more money through the years? Both tokens launched May 2019. Blue line is Reserve Rights and orange is Terra Luna. We can see from the beginning Reserve Rights was doing better until the end of a bull run in 2021. In the second half though of 2021 till today, Terra Luna just smashed everything and outperformed vastly RSR, while Reserve was going down. If you had bought $1,000 of RSR token in May of 2019, today you would have $3,000. On the other hand, the same $1,000 invested in Terra would give us $8,000 in the same time period. If you guys want to check another awesome crypto battle, just click at the suggested video at the right top corner. What is Terra Luna though? It is its own layer 1 blockchain with smart contract capabilities that main function is to issue decentralized algorithmic stablecoins that target minimal or no volatility at all. You can build decentralized finance on Terra just like on Ethereum. It uses delegated proof of stake to secure the network and aims at interoperability and transfer of value between different chains as well. It uses a dual token model. Luna tokens are used to keep the value of stablecoins of the ecosystem at one-to-one peg to real currencies or assets in the real world. You need to burn Luna tokens to create new stablecoins. Also, they are not backed by real reserves and assets like in the case of centralized stablecoins such as USD Coin and Tether USDT. At least that was true until recently. More on that later. Behind Terra, we saw huge investors such as Binance, Coinbase, Huobi, Arrington XRP, Galaxy Digital, and many more, all very known and prominent in the space. On the other hand, Reserve Rights is a protocol that is built on top of the Ethereum network, so it is not its own blockchain and can't create DeFi ecosystems. Reserve aggregates tokenized assets and creates decentralized algorithmic stablecoins with minimized volatility as well. The goal is to combat inflation, and it already has an off-chain app in Latin America that uses the RSV stablecoin to offer value stability. By design, Reserve uses dual token model and tokenized assets that back up the stablecoins, like Tether USDT, USD Coin, and later on even tokenized bonds and real estate. That is the main difference from Terra. At some point of the cycle, RSR tokens are burned, but not to create new stablecoins, like in the case of Terra. Behind Reserve, we can see huge names like Coinbase, Arrington XRP, Digital Currency Group, NGC, and 3 big names from PayPal such as co-founder Peter Thiel. Which one is undervalued though and a better buying and holding opportunity, long term or short term? Terra Luna is almost 200 times bigger with 29 billion market cap. Reserve Rights, on the other hand, is valued around $151 million. There are 343 million Luna tokens circulating and 16.8 billion RSR tokens are live in the open market. The maximum Luna tokens that exist and can exist are 1 billion and 100 billion RSR tokens conversely. This means that 34.3% of the whole supply of Terra is out and only 16.8% of reserve tokens are generated and live, which raises the question, how quickly new tokens will come out creating potential sell pressure? In case of Luna, there are already many tokens that have been burned to create new stablecoins, so the max supply from 1 billion is now 726 million tokens. Also, the inflation for Luna is dynamic, as demand for its ecosystem stablecoins reduces the supply of Luna tokens and inflation drops to almost zero. But if demand for stablecoins goes down, the supply of Luna tokens goes up, along with inflation. This is why Luna price keeps rising and supply keeps dropping for now. Although all tokens were generated from launch, we don't know how they will be unlocked, but I would assume that the team wouldn't want to harm the project. On the other hand, Reserve Rights has a known unlock schedule, and we can see that until July of 2022, there will be massive unlocks. After that, everything will be stabilized. RSR uses similar mechanism with Terra Luna, but not exactly the same. The gist of it is that the demand for stablecoins will also drive the price of RSR tokens up. So at this point, inflation for Terra is around 0.57% per year, and RSR sits at an inflation rate more than 100% per year. For now, total value locked in the Terra ecosystem is 29.6 billion, which is huge. Reserve Rights has 28.3 million value locked. Comparing those numbers to their valuations and market caps, we can see that Terra Luna is undervalued with a figure of 0.97. RSR token seems overvalued with 5.3. NVT ratio seems good for both, around 52. For context, Bitcoin is around 30 and Ethereum around 60. This is based on their transactions on the blockchain and off-chain in dollars. Almost 1 billion in one day for Terra and 1.9 million on-chain for RSR plus 1.5 million on the app. And this is for one day. Clearly, I would prefer Terra here with better metrics long term. RSR is good for short term, but still after July of 2022. After that, maybe even for the long run, we will consider it. Let's discuss this more. There are some risks with stablecoins, such as regulations, which RSR probably is in a better spot because it is by design backing up their stablecoins with assets. Terra Luna though is getting big and can become a systemic risk in the future, and using only Luna tokens as backing may not be enough. At least regulators might think so. Also, there are some risks with algorithmic stablecoins. When some conditions aren't met or are broken, a death spiral might occur, and the value can drop to zero. The main concern critics have is with the Terra's Anchor protocol, where you can lend and borrow in a decentralized way, which until recently gave a huge return and attracted a lot of users to Terra ecosystem, creating demand for USD stablecoin and driving the price of Luna tokens up. But Anchor is losing money and not making, giving those returns critics say is unsustainable, and are afraid that investors will leave in mass in the future of the ecosystem, which creates a risk of a death spiral. Doc Won, though, CEO of Terra, responded on Twitter to every single question and criticism on those issues and reassured the community that everything is fine, and it does seem like it. Also, not to mention that recently they decided to back up the ecosystem by creating reserves in Bitcoin and other assets to support the stablecoins. And again, every criticism was answered. On last note, partnerships keep growing on Terra Luna, and UST stablecoin will be used for payments in Washington Nationals. And Astroport, a next generation decentralized exchange on Terra blockchain, gives insane incentives and returns to attract more users. Don't forget that until now Terra managed to keep its peg on the dollar stablecoin just fine, even in extreme volatility conditions. So network effect seems to be good on Terra Luna. Definitely a long-term play, but still keep in mind different types of risks. Reserve, on the other hand, is being used more and more in countries of Latin America, and there are plans to expand worldwide with first target USA. All this after the mainnet launch, which should be very soon. The project is very transparent and you can find info on every little detail and where they are at now and where they are going. The vision is long-term and they go slow but steady. Being on Ethereum is a concern because the transactions are high, but their app is off-chain and they do have plans to expand being on other chains as well. Also, when Ethereum 2 launches, fees should be lower theoretically. Recent partnerships is with Mercado Libre, one of the largest digital marketplaces in Latin America. Supply held by top 1% seems to be rising, which may suggest support and accumulation for the long run from the big guys. And balance on exchanges started going down again as well. A good short-term buy, although as mentioned after July 2022, and we will reevaluate later on for the long term as well. Now, thank you for watching, guys. If you liked this episode, please subscribe, share, like, as this helps us a lot on YouTube, and comment in the comment section below which crypto battle you would like us to do next. Thank you and bye bye.
Dear Diet.